Hello children, welcome to online class. Today's subject is history of class 9th and the chapter is Vedic civilization. Children, you have learnt in the first chapter about the Indus Valley civilization. Indus Valley civilization has changed the history of India. How did it change? Before the discovery of Indus Valley sites, it was believed that Indian history starts with the advent of the Aryans. But after the discovery of the Indus Valley sites, it has been proved that a very developed, advanced civilization existed much before the advent of the Aryans, almost 5,000 years ago from now. You have also learned about the causes of the decline of this great civilizations. Children, remember, one of the causes was the advent of the Aryans. It is believed that the Indus Valley people were peace-loving. They did not have any weapons and the Aryans were warlike. So they invaded India and this became one of the causes for the decline of Indus Valley civilization. Since the people of Indus Valley were peace-loving, they did not have any weapons and they could not defend themselves. So this became one of the causes. Now, the advent of the Aryans in India is an important landmark in the history of India. With the coming of the Aryans, a new civilization which was different than that of Indus Valley civilization started and developed in India. Who were the Aryans? There are different views given by different historians. Some historians believe that the Aryans were not the original inhabitants of India. They came from somewhere else. But there are other historians who believe that they were the original inhabitants of India. A.C. Das, a famous historian, believes that the original home of the Aryans was somewhere in northwest part of India, and that was called the Sapt Sindhu. Sapt Sindhu, the area which was drained by 7 rivers. That is Sindhu, that is Indus, and its tributaries, that is Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Beas, Satluj, and Saraswati. So the Aryans lived in this area. This was also called as Brahmavart, that means the land of the gods. And this was the place where the Rig Veda, the oldest Veda, was composed. Now, another theory given by Bal Gangadhar Tilak. According to him, after he studied Rig Veda, he studied Zendavest, that is the holy scripture of the Zoroastrians. After studying these books, he came to the conclusion that the original home of the Aryans was somewhere near Arctic region. That means they came from a very, very cold area. Dayanand Saraswati, the founder of Arya Samaj, he told that the original home of the Aryans was in Tibet. But the most accepted theory was given by Professor Max Müller, a German historian. What did he say? According to him, the original home of the Aryans was somewhere in Central Asia. He has given many proofs in the support of his theory. Now, the most important is that the Aryans were nomadic. When they came to India, they were nomadic and their main occupation was domestication of animals and agriculture. And in Central Asia also, the people, their main occupation was agriculture because that area was a very, very fertile region. Now, another proof given by Max Müller, that was that the gods which were worshipped by the Aryans, some of the nature gods, that is Indra and Varun, these names were found in the inscriptions which were discovered from Central Asia. That means the gods which were worshipped by the Aryans, there also people worshipped those gods because these names were there in the inscriptions found in Central Asia. Then the flora and fauna described in the Rig Veda were the same of that Central Asia. Another reason is that it is believed that the Aryans did not come all together. They came gradually and they came in groups. A group went to Europe also. Now, the Central Asia is located at an equidistance from Europe and India. So these are the theories given by different historians about the original home of the Aryans. Some historians say they belong to India, but another historians say they belong to some other place. Okay, now the period when the Aryans first settled in India, that period is called Early Vedic period, and the date is 1500 BC to 1000 BC. And this time they were in the northwest part of India, and it is believed that the Aryans had discovered the metal iron. The Indus Valley people did not know the use of iron. The Aryans had discovered iron and they had made many weapons, tools using iron. And then they started moving towards the east, and they went to east, that is the northern plain, the fertile Gangetic plain, and they settled there. Later they settled there, and that period was called the later Vedic period. The dates 1000 BC to 500 BC. And during this period, many large kingdoms were established, and this was the later Vedic period. So the Vedic period has been divided into two parts: the early Vedic period, 1500 to 1000 BC, and later Vedic period, 1000 BC to 500 BC. Now children will discuss about the Vedic literature. Vedic literature is considered as one of the most important and valuable contribution to Indian culture. Now it has been divided into two parts, Shruti and Smriti. Shruti means to listen. Why it is called Shruti? Because it is believed that the knowledge was revealed by gods to the sages, and this knowledge was passed on from the sages to their disciples orally. That is why it is called Shruti. And Smriti was written by the sages. Now the Vedic literature, the word Ved has been derived from a Sanskrit word Vid, which means spiritual knowledge. And the Vedic literature is in Sanskrit language. There are 4 Vedas. The first one, the oldest Veda, is Rig Veda. Now Rig Veda is the oldest Veda which was written during the early Vedic period, and it has 1028 hymns, and all these hymns are dedicated to different gods, and these hymns are divided into 10 mandalas, that is chapters, and all these are in praise of gods. The famous Gayatri Mantra is there in the Rig Veda. The next Veda is the Sam Veda. Sam Veda contains hymns mainly recited by the priests. Third one is Yajur Veda. Now Yajur Veda also contains hymns which were recited by the priests at the time of sacrifices and yagyas. Now what does it show? That the Aryans had given up their practice of simple worship, nature worship. Earlier they used to worship the nature, different aspects of nature like wind, sun, air, all these they used to worship, but afterwards they gave importance to various rituals. So this Veda, that is Yajur Veda, reveals this. Now the last one is Atharva Veda. Atharva Veda contains hymns where the subjects are magic and spell. These were recited to keep the people, to protect the people from evil power and for their happiness. This Veda also contains the subjects like Gyan, that is knowledge, Karma, that means action, and Upasana, that is invocation. So these are the 4 Vedas. These are written in Sanskrit. Now the Brahmanas. Now Vedas were written in poetry form and they were difficult for the common people to understand. So the Brahmanas are the simple commentary, and these are written in prose form. These are of great historical value because they explain the social and religious importance of rituals. Then we have Aranyaks. As the name suggests, Aranya, that means forests. These books are guidelines for those who had renounced the worldly life and they were leading a life of hermits and sages, and they used to live in the forests. What type of life they should lead, about meditation, that is tapasya, everything is there in the Aranyaks. And then Upanishad. These are the basic source of Indian philosophy. They deal with various subjects like karma, moksha, maya. And lastly, the epics. The great epics, they are long poetries, Ramayana and Mahabharata. Children, you know the story of Ramayana and you also know the story of Mahabharata. Ramayana is about those four brothers, Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, Shatrughna, their relation with each other. How did Ram defeat Ravana, the demon king? All these are there in the Ramayana. Mahabharata also, you know, children, these are the stories of Kauravas and the Pandavas. Now we will discuss about the importance of the epics. These are the epics are the main source of information about the Vedic period. Now they provide a lot of knowledge, not only from history point of view they are important, but from literary point of view also they are of great importance because they are the finest work of literature. They provide information about the kingdoms, the kings, about their rules, their administration, army, and weapons. What type of weapons were used by the army? All these are there in these epics. And they are the finest literary works. And they tell us about the high ideals of family life. What type of relation the parents should have with their children, what type of respect the children should have for their parents, a brother with his brother, elder brother, younger brother, all these are given in the epics. And lastly, Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a part of Mahabharata. Bhagavad Gita is the discourse of Lord Krishna given to Arjun. It is said that when Arjun came to the battlefield to fight with his own relatives, his brothers, when he saw the crowd, when he saw his relatives at the other side of the battlefield, he was so disappointed, he threw his bow and arrow and he refused to fight. That time, Lord Krishna advised him and told him about his duty as a king. So Bhagavad Gita is about this. It tells the duty of a king, that is karma theory. What is the duty of a king? To protect his kingdom and his subjects. So children, this is all for today. Take care. Good day.